Hello, and welcome to another episode of Non-Mainstream Dad. I'm Morgan Jones. Thank you for tuning in. This channel is devoted to talking about responsible non-monogamy and alternative lifestyles, but there will be a little deviance mixed in there as well. Coming up in August of 2019, I will be presenting workshops at an event called Libertine. It's focused on non-monogamy, sacred sexuality, hedonism and kink education and enjoyment. It's located at Camp Midian, which is just outside of Springville, Indiana, and that's just south of Bloomington, just north of Bedford, so South Central Indiana. You can get more information at www.labordaylibertine.org. Please remember to like the video and subscribe and like and all those things. It'll help inspire me to make more and I get a better idea. And please comment because it helps me take direction with where I'm going with these videos. So that's really important to me that I make sure that I'm answering what you guys are wanting to hear about. My plan for the series is to walk through the progression of learning if poly is right for you and or your relationship and the steps that you're going to have to go through to get there. We'll discuss some of the considerations, pitfalls, and joys of poly living. It's a thing. Anytime you move to change your world, you need to be aware of how it's going to affect other people. That's most especially applicable in polyamory and non-monogamy. Whether you're doing relationship anarchy or polyfidelity, you need to decide how you're going to do it, and it's only fair to communicate openly and honestly with the people that you're going to do it with. So let's take a look at some of the stuff you got to do. Whether you're deciding this as a single or part of an ongoing couple or multiple relationship and you're discussing how you're going to operate, you have to talk about these things. Like last episode, I'm going to revisit for a moment something incredibly important here. Relationships are agreements. They're about communicating needs and expectations between a pair of partners. They are about informal, verbal, and written contracts and doing what is agreed to and dealing with the consequences of not doing what you agreed to or doing things you didn't agree to. When you do this, you generally have to provide at least a beginning structure of how you're going to operate your relationship and or your poly exploration. A lot of us, exploration isn't really the right word. It's finding out how to live the life that we need to live. So it's not exploration. It's a step into the abyss. When you're single poly, you have to develop your own rules to figure out how to interact with other people so that you can kind of give yourself a guideline by which you interact. Because you need to set down something, and you get caught up in bad situations and situations you're not prepared for or are expecting if you don't establish your own guidelines from the beginning, whether you're a couple, a single, or any other dynamic. I have a personal rule that I'll only date people that I've known for 6 months. This is so that I can get an idea of what their crazy is, hopefully. Generally, it's going to pop up. There's going to be some sort of public explosion, if that's the type of crazy they have. There's going to be some sort of incident. There's going to be some sort of exchange, and you're going to see that publicly, especially within the poly community. Poly communities are small. They tend to be fairly interwoven. So my 6-month rule isn't infallible, and there are times when I too jump off the cliff. It's just something to throw down there and state ahead of time that this is something that occasionally you might want to take it slow and not just totally rush into what you're doing. When you're talking about the behavior of others in your relationship, rules should be agreed upon by those that are participating in the relationship and that agree to the relationship style and status. You can't negotiate rules with somebody who doesn't want to be poly. That means you're not poly. Well, you might be poly, but your relationship isn't, and you need to look at the structure that your relationship is in and if that's really what you want. These type of situations are living, breathing creatures. As people are added to the relationship, you need to look at those rules and see if they still apply, if the rules need changed, or if there's some sort of adjustment. And they need some buy-in because they're coming into this and they're not property. They're a living, breathing human being that's participating in the relationship, so they need to have a say. This is super important. Have the new partners participate in the rule decisions. I know this is a direct violation of couples privilege, but suck it up. Treat new partners like they're entering in a relationship with you, with everybody, so that everybody is seen as an individual, not a commodity. The best litmus tool for any rule that you come up with is going to be, would you want it applied to yourself? Now, some of us are okay with extreme situations and be honest. Is it fair? Are you asking them to do something that is unreasonable? That's something you need to look at. I'm not really going to sit here and list out the kind of rules that you should have. Some of the examples of rules that you can have are overnights, how frequently you can see someone else during the week, and that's a relationship thing. There are other things like sex and intimacy, and some people get down to as how much you can talk to somebody, and that's kind of controlling. You need to look at, is it rational? Is it reasonable? Would you be willing to agree to it if it was just you and another person, not you trying to include other people? Sometimes we give up more than we're willing to because we want something, and you need to look at that. Is that what you're doing? Are you agreeing to things that you're not actually okay with because you want something? If you're doing that, you need to step back for a second. Reconsider and think about what you just agreed to and renegotiate. Rules should never be hard and fast. They should always be open to renegotiation. But if you break the rules, renegotiating afterwards doesn't help. You have to renegotiate before so that everything's on the up and up and everything is honest and open. What this essentially boils down to is that you're sitting down with your partner and creating rules that will help make them feel comfortable and you feel comfortable as you go through this. And when I'm saying partner, I mean whether they're your nesting partner or a brand new person you're wanting to date, you need to talk to that person.
When you sit down with your partners to start giving the structure, some of the things you need to consider are the following. What is your motivation? Is this rule fair to everyone? Do you need this rule to be temporary or long-term? Do you need this rule to apply to all of your partners or just one of your partners? Any rule made specifically for one person should prompt the parties to ask what the fuck is the real issue and why this person is so divisive and so special and causing so many problems in your relationship. Is it a threat? Do they get extra privileges? What's going on that makes this happen? So I'm going to go through and list off some of the rules that I've heard of other people having, I've had. I'm not going to say what's what. Some of them are kind of crazy. So how many nights a week are okay to date? How many partners can you have? How much time is allowed to be spent with each of those partners? Does your partner have to meet every new prospect or not until you're about to have sex or not before the first date, or how does that work for you? Do you have to declare your intentions to pursue before, during, after? I mean, how does that work? How do you let your partner know that you're looking at other people for partners? How long till you can kiss them? You'd think that that'd be kind of a out there and easy to understand, but it's not. That's an expectation. It's a limit that people need to set. Can you take showers together? Is it too intimate for you? Are you allowed overnights? Those are really important. You fall for somebody, you spend time with them, you want to spend the night, you want to hold them while they sleep, you want to be held while you sleep. That's an important thing. What kind of PDA is okay? That's a really important thing. Are you okay with your partner kissing somebody else in public and maybe your boss seeing it and or your brother or sister and or family? Do you care at all? And who gets to go to the office party? Last but not least, who can have lunch? Is it a special requirement? Do you have to have had so many dates? Do you have to have a certain status? You have to figure that out. if you need to. Otherwise, a lot of people don't care. Some people do. It's up to you if you do. So you can see how you can put a lot of control on the relationship, or you cannot put a lot of control on the relationship, but you need to figure that as you make it organic. My personal rules, I don't really have rules per se. I have an agreement to be respectful that they also have. If possible, they're going to meet anybody I have sex with before I have sex with them. Living with two nesting partners makes it a little different. Do they have to know the person for me to talk to them? No. I'll let them know out of courtesy that I'm having coffee with somebody, or we're going to go have dinner or something, because it's respectful and it's courteous and it's mindful, but not because I'm obligated to. Ultimately, my basic rule is to make sure that my partners feel respected and considered and not taking advantage of. That's my ultimate rule. And in the end, it should be part of everybody's rules too. I think that's a good start for today. Thank you for watching Non-Mainstream Dad. My name is Morgan Jones. I can be contacted at www.nonmainstream.org, as well as on Facebook and Instagram, and I think I've got a Twitter, and I'm on here, and leave comments because it helps me decide what to talk about next and if I should talk about next. And remember to like and subscribe. Thank you. Have a great day.